Thank you, Peggy, and welcome. Hello, Texas 2. You all are fortunate to have so many colleagues with you today. You're going to learn more and have more fun than Texas 1 just because there are more of you. But you've got a great panel here today, and we want to jump right in. I want to just say a few words. Doug Robinson moderated this panel last Texas 1, and he's, of course, head of the NASIA organization in Lexington, Kentucky, and Doug and I have known each other professionally and personally for years. So I try to learn from him, he learns from me, and somehow we come out on the right end of things most of the time. So I'm pleased to be able to play this role for this conference. And I want to just say, for those of you who were here before, and for those of you who are here for the first time, Doug used the metaphor of a model home. And he'd asked who all had been to a model home demonstration in the audience. Let me just ask that question again. How many of you been to model homes? Lots. And the reason for that metaphor was that we've got a model home here on the stage. We've got, as he said, you can't do everything they do in a model home, but it gives you a lot of good ideas. And you can pick and choose what's good for what your home is going to look like. And it gives you a lot more capability for doing that. So we're going to talk a little bit about several programs. What a great digital inclusion. I mean, what a great, how could you better express the reason the Bill and Melinda Gates are doing all this, but digital inclusion. So we've got one of the premier examples of this in the country. We've got a shared pipe that Larry's going to talk about, and Denise is going to talk about total community immersion and how what she's getting out of her community, because we all need to know that we're in this together, we can do it together, and even though we sometimes don't see how that's going to work. I didn't do anything, did I?
That was me. I don't have the swine flu.
Okay. Good. I just wanted, when I was writing speeches for Wendell Ford when he was governor of Kentucky, and he went on to be quite a supporter of libraries in the Senate, he really was for collaboration way back in the early days. In fact, when they built a new football stadium at the University of Kentucky, they wanted to name it after him. He said, no, this is the People's Stadium. It'll be Commonwealth Stadium, to which it still is this day. So Wendell Ford really understood the nature of being part of the whole. As we say in Kentucky, united you live and divided you fall. So that's why we're all together in this 24-hour period to talk a little bit about how we can be together in ways that'll help our communities. But one of the examples he used to use when he was talking about collaboration was and some of you may have heard this before, but I think it's a really fun place to start, about the pig and the chicken that are walking down the street in a little rural town in eastern Kentucky, and they walk by the local cafe and look up, and there's a sign in the window that says, ham and eggs, $1.98, and the chicken turns to the pig and says, now look, there's a good example of collaboration. If it weren't for you and I collaborating, they couldn't have that special here at the cafe. And the pig turns to the chicken and says, yeah, for you it's collaboration, for me it's total commitment. Well, that's true. There's no such thing as equal collaboration, but there is equitable. And I used to, several years ago, the Urban Library Council did a study of collaboration between libraries, museums, and public radio, or public television and radio. And they did find that there are lots of issues there, but when they could find that mutual benefit to the end user, to the customer, to the person in your community, then that's when the collaboration took place. And the neat thing about broadband is you've got the pipes and different stuff can go through them. You're not going to do any mission drifting, or you're not going to get out of your mission and into somebody else's by using the same pipe, and Larry can talk to that point. So it's really an issue that supports collaboration like none other before. And I've not seen as much involvement of the library community at the high levels that you all are involved in since I've been in the business. So it's been exciting to work on this project. And what Stephen said early on when he started his remarks, that the library is a place you don't have to go to. You go to it because it gives you value. It's important to you, it helps you, you can use it in your own life. And when Governor Paul Patton started to do a complete restructuring of state government in Kentucky, he hired got an executive on loan from Lexmark, Ron Bingham. The first week Ron came to this job, he came over and talked to me. He said, Jim, he said, I know we can restructure state government, and his job was to save $50 million through restructuring government and automating a lot of functions that needed it. He said, but what difference is it going to make if the people don't feel it? He said, you've got a library in every county in this state of Kentucky, and if we're able to successfully restructure government, they're going to feel their government in their community. That's what's important. He said, we have to work together to make sure what we're doing to restructure our services in our government is going to be felt at the community level. So you all have that same opportunity. Kudos again to the foundation and their long-term effort to strive towards this digital inclusion. And I think that's a segue I'll use to start our first panelists to talk a little bit. We're going to talk 5 to 7 minutes. You all get 10 minutes, but the other two get 5 minutes. And I don't even have to crack the whip because we got Casey sitting here in the front row with the thing. So you guys got to watch her, and she'll give you the cue. So let's get started, and we'll jump into the panel. I've got a few questions you all be thinking about as you're asking. Let me second what Peggy said. If you've got an aha, if you hear something or you think of something, you say, aha, that really fits to what we're trying to do. Don't forget to write it down on those cards and turn them into us, because we're going to put all that stuff back into the collective knowledge of this experience. So.